Superfood Evolution presents Rosemary Herb, Folklore, Rituals, and Symbolism. Top uses in traditional folk medicine. Rosemary is among one of the most well-known leafy culinary herbs common to herb gardens and spice racks across many continents. Rosmarinus officinalis is a species now botanically identified as Salvia rosmarinus, as it has been recently reclassified with plants like sage, which come from the Salvia genus. These types also have similar-looking flowers, as do others in the family Laminaceae, or mint family, such as basil, oregano, thyme, and lavender. Rosemary, with its slender thick leaves growing off a woody stem, is one of those plants that have been historically utilized by humans for a very long time, and is thus deeply rooted in herbal folklore and tradition. In fact, some sources say it was one of the earliest herbs documented on cuneiform clay tablets by ancient Mesopotamian civilizations. As a Mediterranean native plant and cultivar, rosemary is linked with its affinity for coastal sea air and environments. The original Latin name Rosmarinus comes from rose meaning dew and marinus meaning sea. Often retaining its green silvery leaves and strong fragrance with blooming flowers throughout the year, it can withstand dry climates and is commonly found untended as a hardy, drought-tolerant ornamental shrub. Rosemary Folklore, Rituals, and Symbolism. Rosemary throughout global history has been used for ritualistic purposes by numerous cultures around the world. Across Europe, sprigs of rosemary, bouquets, and/or garlands were used in both weddings as well as in funeral ceremonies. In the poem The Rosemary Branch, 17th century poet Robert Herrick wrote, "Grow it for two ends, it matters not at all, be it for bridal or burial." It is likewise an herb associated with loyalty within marriage, and rosemary in the home and garden is declared to help maintain a strong female dominance in the household. Rosemary is also related to love and magic. In medieval folklore, if a man could not smell the fragrance of rosemary, he was not capable of loving a woman. In Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet, he writes, "Doth not Rosemary and Romeo both begin with a letter?" which is a take on this perspective. In ancient Greece, it was believed to be sacred to the goddess of love, Aphrodite, who, like rosemary, had a deep connection to the sea. As a highly fragrant aromatic herb, it has been widely utilized as a concentrated essential oil in aromatherapy, used with a carrier oil for topical use in massage or for the skin, scalp, and hair care treatments. While also popular as a food seasoning, described to impart a combination of flavors such as pine, mint, and citrus, rosemary can also be a potent plant-based ally to include in your herbal apothecary. Here we'll discuss the traditional uses of rosemary leaves as an herbal substance and the three main virtues of this common culinary leaf that you may not know about. Top 3 traditional folk uses of rosemary. Number 1. Rosemary herb for memory. Nicholas Culpeper, a 17th century physician of herbal medicine, says that it helps a weak memory and quickens the senses, much the same way he describes the herb sage to have a similar benefit. As a mild, warming, stimulating diaphoretic, this might have something to do with rosemary's influence on circulation and its potential effect at enhancing blood flow to the brain. Referred to by Shakespeare as the herb of remembrance in such plays as Hamlet and the verse by Ophelia, "There is rosemary for you, that's for remembrance. Pray you, love, remember." Greek scholars were often claimed by many sources to have worn rosemary during examinations to improve their memory recall and performance. In the book Essential Herbal Wisdom, it was reported to be a customary folk remedy for a headache, and was said to ease the mind of cares. Rosemary leaves, when crushed, steeped, or heated, were also believed to have a mood-uplifting influence and supportive to general mental health. While science does give some merit to its claim on boosting a mental acuity, concrete evidence of this effect is still pending. Interestingly, in one small human study testing cognitive function of elderly subjects, dried rosemary powder of about 750 milligrams or close to 1/8 teaspoon were shown to have positive effects on speed of memory, while much higher doses of 6,000 milligrams had a cognitive impairing outcome. Used in moderate amounts, one might conclude from direct experience that the strong, invigorating, herbaceous piney scent of rosemary naturally does help to focus the senses. This fragrance comes from its concentrated aromatic volatile oils found in the leaves. These compounds, as well as other phenolic derivatives and diterpenes, act as antioxidants and are also thought to play a role in supporting an alert state of mind when ingested. Some of the major constituents include caffeic acid, carnosic acid, chlorogenic acid, oleanolic acid, rosmarinic acid, ursolic acid, alpha-pinene, camphor, carnosol, eucalyptol, rosmadiol, and rosmanol. Rosmarinic acid is the one most associated with rosemary, but is also found in a number of herbs including thyme, sage, basil, marjoram, oregano, and mint. Fresh organic rosemary, as well as dried leaves and powders, can be used in a number of ways to extract their medicinal qualities. For example, rosemary is often utilized in olive oil or vinegar infusions, which are great to have on hand for salad dressings or drizzled on top of meals. Number 2. Rosemary herb uses and purifying properties. The compounds in rosemary leaves have been highly revered for their antibacterial, antifungal, and antiseptic attributes. This includes phenolic, antioxidant-rich components like carnosic and rosmarinic acids, which in some research was proposed to be the main bioactive antimicrobial compounds in rosemary extracts. Rosemary extracts are in fact often used as a natural preservative in homemade herbal body care products to stabilize their shelf life for this reason. Incorporating a variety of leafy aromatic culinary herbs like rosemary into a healthy diet and lifestyle protocol can be supportive to the growth of beneficial gut bacteria and a healthy intestinal microbiome. According to an article on the Body Ecology website, rosemary herb is cleansing to the blood and keeps pathogenic bacteria like Candida in check, without eliminating the good bacteria and yeast. Believed to offer a shielding impact to the immune system, rosemary was one of the herbal substances used for protection against the Great Plague of the late Middle Ages. Fresh rosemary leaf with its powerful purifying and disinfecting qualities was considered a magical herb, and often burned to purify the air, hung in homes, and worn on the body to ward off such epidemics. Medical physicians or plague doctors treating bubonic plague victims were known to wear beak-like face masks stuffed with aromatic herbs such as rosemary. Rosemary was also one of the herbal ingredients utilized in the famed concoction Four Thieves vinegar, originally developed in Marseille, France, to offer protection against the plague or Black Death. Likewise, rosemary leaves were the main plant material used in the original Queen of Hungary's water, one of the first European perfumes formulated in the late 14th century. One legend claims that Hungary's Queen Isabella, the intended recipient of the water, consumed it to regain her strength and beauty in her elder years. By the late 17th century, according to our research, Hungary water was used as a form of folk medicine for clearing out impurities and to a large degree considered a type of cure-all for many ailments. Described as a popular distilled water based on rosemary, in the book Household Medicine in 17th Century England, it was used both topically and consumed in small doses. Number 3. Rosemary herb uses as a digestive aid. The compounds in rosemary leaves act as an herbal carminative with antispasmodic properties that can offer a soothing influence on digestive problems like gas, bloating, or stomach cramps. Culpepper says, "It is a remedy for the windiness in the stomach, bowels, and spleen, and expels it powerfully." While it can be used as an herbal seasoning for such purposes, usually rosemary tea is considered most beneficial as a digestive aid. It is frequently prepared as a tea infusion using fresh or dried leaves or powders directly in hot water, then allowing it to steep for at least 5 minutes with a lid. Rosemary was a traditional herb used along with others like mint and aniseed in medicinal cordial recipes to help facilitate healthy digestion. Although it is important to also adjust your lifestyle and diet accordingly, rosemary can be seen as one of those herbs you may wish to add periodically to your herbal arsenal for its therapeutic versatility. For more information on how to use rosemary, please visit the link above or in the description box below this video. Precautions: rosemary herb is rich in volatile oils that may cause uterine contractions and is best avoided in large amounts during pregnancy. Never take pure rosemary essential oil internally. Consult your healthcare advisor before using rosemary if you are pregnant, nursing, taking prescribed medications, or if you have a serious medical condition. Thanks for watching! For in-depth info and top quality sources of all things rosemary, be sure and check out the links in the description box below this video. Please like and/or give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful. And be sure and check out these other informational videos.